Hi, welcome back to my channel. I'm Kelsey and we're currently in the middle of my Arizona road trip series. This series began with a quick visit to beautiful Sedona. And then we drove on to the Grand Canyon, which definitely did not disappoint. Our next stop was visiting the Slot Canyons in Page, Arizona, my personal favorite part of the trip. And the most previous video was in Monument Valley. Today's video is picking up at the next stop on our road trip, Canyon de Chelly. We joined up with our friends at Canyon de Chelly, and our first activity was driving along the South Rim Drive. Its iconic viewpoint is Spider Rock Overlook. It's difficult to get this deep into the actual canyon, so the overlook is your main way of seeing this famous site. Good morning from Canyon de Chelly, and this morning we are taking a horseback ride down into the canyon.
Ancient drawings that we have here, they're all painted on there by these Anasazi people. That's what we call those people that were living here first. They probably started living here in this area throughout the whole Southwest, sometimes back in 250 BC, all the way out to 1300 AD.
We did a 2-hour horseback tour, and our guide showed us some of the petroglyphs and caves left from the Anasazi and ancient Puebloans.
We start with the two skinny horses on the right side. Those are carved there by Navajo people, sometimes in the 1600 on up, and then another horse right up on top. That one, the rider, you can see it's wearing an armored cape there. That's the Spanish person. You can see that one right there, and then all the way down to your left, two individuals on horseback chasing that mule deer.
What did you think of your first horse riding experience?
It was a little stressful, but it was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had no idea what the horse wanted to do half the time.
After the horseback tour, we decided to drive around the north rim of the canyon. A lot of people were surprised that we were visiting Canyon de Chelly because it's a much less visited area with all the other amazing places Arizona has to offer. But Canyon de Chelly has a lot of history. It contains over 2,500 archaeological sites dating from 1500 BC all the way to the 1300s AD. The Navajo moved into the canyon in the early 1700s. It's in the middle of the current Navajo reservation, but the Navajo had their own difficulties with the US government over the land. In 1863, the military forcibly removed the Navajo from Canyon de Chelly, and they walked 300 miles to Fort Sumner, New Mexico. The Navajo weren't allowed to return until 4 years later, but Navajo have lived here ever since. This is called the White House Ruin. It dates back to 1070 and was probably abandoned when the Anasazi left the area in the 1300s. Apparently, these ruins were home to at least 50 people. Mummy Cave was one of my favorite sites. I honestly didn't even notice it nestled in the cliffside at first, but when I did, I was in awe. It was named when archaeologists found 2 mummies eroding out of the slope right below the site. Mummy Cave is the largest Puebloan village preserved in this canyon, with what used to be over 70 rooms. We're currently in our room freshening up for our last dinner here in Canyon de Chelly. We just finished the North Rim Drive and we did the South Rim Drive when we got here yesterday. The South Rim Drive has the iconic Spider Rock viewpoint, which is amazing, of course, but I have to say the North Rim Drive blew my mind. And if I only had time for one, North Rim Drive all the way.
You shouldn't only have time for one.
You shouldn't. They're very quick rim drives, much quicker than Grand Canyon. Like the Grand Canyon obviously is much bigger than Canyon de Chelly.
If you were coming here, you would have time for both. But North is better.
North was so
greener.
North has all of the like pastures, but the really cool thing is all of the caves, all of the ruins, the Antelope House ruins, the Mummy Cave, the Massacre Cave. Those are all on the North Rim Drive, and it was just so cool. Canyon de Chelly overall is very beautiful, very cool to see. And they say that apparently this place does not actually get that many tourists, like it's not a common place to visit, so let's change that.
I've done my part.
We'll show you guys pretty much the one restaurant that is in town, so it's the one restaurant we recommend, and this is our second time eating at it. The main restaurant near Canyon de Chelly is the Junction Restaurant, and luckily it's pretty good. Most of the food around here is Tex-Mex cuisine. Bobby got their country fried steak, and I can never go wrong with some Navajo fry bread and fajitas. It's our last morning here at Canyon de Chelly. We're about to leave, but I figured I would give you a room tour of our room at Thunderbird Lodge because this is one of about 3 choices in town, so you might as well have a good idea of what you're getting here. Most of the rooms are double bed rooms, so we only ended up using one of the beds, but super comfy, tons of pillows, slept really well. One nice thing is that there's actually a not big sitting area, but very convenient sitting area here because there's actually not a ton to do in town once you're done exploring the canyon. So we ended up just sitting here and chatting with our friends for a long time last night, and it was really fun, but it's good that there's this seating area here. There's a fridge and microwave, which is also great because there aren't many coffee choices in town, so I ended up just buying my own, so it's really good that they have a fridge. Great TV. This is actually a really nice desk area that I ended up using last night with my laptop and stuff, so that's super cool. And then the bathroom meets your needs. The only downside is the toilet and shower part of the bathroom is a little bit tight. Like the door barely shuts, barely passes the toilet, so you kind of have to shimmy around it sometimes. We really enjoyed our stay here, slept great, stayed here for 2 nights, so I don't know how great the other lodges are in town, but I'd recommend this one. Oh, and food choices aren't always abundant, if you didn't notice in my last vlogs. So when you're traveling through these nature areas, rural areas, food choices aren't very abundant, and this has its own cafeteria attached, which is also pretty nice. We are driving out of Canyon de Chelly now. As we were checking out, we saw the Jeep tours pulling in, and honestly, those Jeep tours are pretty much the only thing we didn't do in Canyon de Chelly. I think a day is a good amount of time, and if we had planned ahead, we probably would have planned a Jeep tour for the afternoon as well, and instead we ended up driving the North Rim ourselves, which was still amazing.
The only way you can legally get into Canyon is on a horse tour, which only takes you in 10% of the way, or a Jeep tour, which I don't know how far those go, but they don't go all the way either.
But yeah, we really enjoyed it. It's a beautiful place to come. It was kind of funny as we were driving here from Monument Valley. I was thinking to myself that I had no idea what put this place on my radar. I don't know why I thought of it. I don't know if I was just looking at maps as I was planning out my route and I just happened to see this and I figured it was a place to come see. But I'm not really sure, but because then our friends who live in Phoenix were like, oh yeah, people were so excited that we were coming here because nobody goes here. So it's kind of cool. It's like a hidden gem. I wouldn't make this your only destination in Arizona, but if you're already on a road trip of Arizona, like we are, definitely add it in.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this vlog. We are headed to the Petrified Forest next, which is actually our last stop of this road trip, but that will be in the next vlog. So we will see you guys in that one. Bye.